to alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Welcome to the Biddy Beer Bros Hidden Gem Show, a series of videos where we ignore the garbage and the most known titles on your favourite consoles and focus on the underrated, the forgotten, the best games that never got their time to shine. So join us as we bring you even more hidden gems for the absolutely fantastic Xbox 360. After Gears of War took the world by storm, many other games were released that tried to imitate the pop and shot cover based gameplay that Epic Games had perfected, but many of these games were just hollow imitations that failed to build on that formula in any meaningful way. One game that did kinda try something new, well, more accurately, just placed that awesome gameplay in a mystical setting and replaced the bullets and oversized marines with arrows, swords, elves, and magic, is Hunted the Demon's Forge, a fantasy adventure game infused with RPG elements, satisfying third-person cover-based shooting, and some solid weapon-based combat that's all held together with smart storytelling and awesome cooperative good times. The game sees you either take control of Asura or Kadok as they hunt for a mysterious artifact and cut their way through a horde of dastardly creatures. Asura is one of the last few elves left and is an expert marksman with all the varied arrow types and magic you could ask for. Obviously, Asura is best utilised in range combat, whereas Kadok is a hulking beast of a man whose skills are best used up close and personal. It's a really nice dynamic that encourages teamwork to progress. And yeah, while the game is by no means groundbreaking, the engaging story, secret treasure-filled levels, and fun tactical co-op play help this one to truly stand out. Dead to Right's Retribution is a reboot of the long-running cult favourite Dead to Right series. If you're not familiar with the games, basically, think Max Payne with a lot less polish and a lot more canine fun. Yeah, this is a game that sees you unleash your doggo partner on unsuspecting criminal goons' private areas. Yup, this game lets you manually control your hulking beast of a canine partner and rip out throats and the testicles of your enemies in four-legged bloody glory. That should sell you on the game alone, but if not, add a meaty visceral hand-to-hand combat system that's honestly so responsive and brutal you will smile every time you execute one of the crushing finishing moves. But if fisticuffs aren't your thing, you will also be pleased to know the gunplay is also top-notch and every bit as bloody and explosive as you would want it to be. Dead to Right's Retribution is an 80s action movie schlocky good time that really shouldn't be overlooked. If you've made it this far, then consider hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel. Cheers! Imagine taking Jason Voorhees and sticking him into a Hitman game. But no, wait, that's not what we got here. Remove Jason Voorhees and replace him with a machete-wielding teddy bear, and you get Naughty Bear, a game that is basically an extremely fun but streamlined version of Hitman's iconic gameplay, but instead of being a suited, barcoded, bald, badass, you play as a teddy bear who goes on a stuffing spilling killing spree after being humiliated and left out of a teddy bear birthday party. Yeah, you heard that right. The game consists of Naughty Bear being dropped into various varied levels and completing checklists and dismembering any cuddly thing responsible for your humiliation. Something that can be done in some truly inventive ways. The more inventive you get, the more points you get, so let your sadistic mind get creative and run wild. It shouldn't work, but somehow it just does, and there's some genuinely funny humour that comes from this setup that's just really hard not to love. It's cute, it's cuddly, but most importantly, it's deadly. Look, before you dislike and roast me in the comments, I know Deadliest Warrior is an inherently bad game, but it's bad in a it's so bad it's good kind of way, and there's just something about pitting the world's historic legends against each other in janky slapstick-esque fights that is just hard not to love, especially when you're facing off against a friend. This game really is hilariously unbalanced at times, and the one-shot kills and limb dismemberment gives this game some honest-to-God Monty Python comedic moments that will have you belly laughing throughout. You can literally cut off both your opponent's arms and have him run around, spraying blood everywhere, with the only attacking option left to be to try and kick you. It never gets old.
Now stand aside, worthy adversary.
'Tis but a scratch.
A scratch? Your arm's off.
No, it isn't.
Well, what's that then?
I've heard worse.
You liar!
Come on, you...
Despite the game being rough, as all hell in most departments, there is a wealth of game modes and a ton to unlock. But to boil it down, it's dumb, bloody, and ridiculous, and that's exactly why me and the beardy beer bro Chris still go back to this game time and time again. Games these days have a tendency to take themselves far too seriously, so sometimes it's nice just to throw on something simple that's packed full of humour and action. So I present to you Eat Lead, The Return of Matt Hazard, a pretty basic third-person shooter that's elevated by its tongue-in-cheek, video game mocking sense of humour and tone. You see, in Matt Hazard, you play as an 80s action video game star, kinda like Duke Nukem. He's not been in the spotlight for some time, but believes his new, next-gen game will save his career. Unfortunately though, the studio decided to cancel the game. Hilarity ensues as two hackers, one who helps you and one who wants to kill you, throw all sorts of weird and wacky characters, enemies and weapons into the game's world. It's this unpredictability that stops the game's pretty mundane combat from becoming too tiresome, as you generally have no idea what the game will have you doing or fighting next. I also have to say, having BoJack Horseman voice actor Will Arnett as the voice of Matt Hazard was an extremely nice touch too that adds so much to the humour.
I lost my edge. They wrote me off.
Now, Inside the Game brings you the untold story of the real Matt Hazard. In 1987, he dazzled the world with the bloodiest game ever seen. The Adventures of Matt in Hazardland. He rode the stream of bullets straight to the top.
You know that English chick who raids catacombs? I nailed her. How else you think she got the part?
Asura's Wrath is one of the most bonkers games to ever grace the Xbox 360, and to break down this game super simply, it's an absolutely gorgeous interactive anime where you play as one of the most angriest characters in gaming as he goes on a mission to punch and tear apart all the gods in his universe. And yeah, while everything is as over the top, brutal, bloody, and violent as you would expect from a third-person brawler game, the game also manages to tell a pretty heartbreaking and gripping story that sucks you in from the very start to the ridiculously epic scaled ending. Asura's Wrath is a game that needs to be seen / played to be believed, so I won't say much more other than if you've ever wanted to be part of a grand, gorgeously designed, unique, and destructive anime, well, this game's clearly for you. Alice Madness Returns is a devilishly dark, twisted, and mature take on the Alice in Wonderland story that stands out due to the sheer amount of creativity and imagination that's been poured into the game's design and world. Somehow, this game is disturbingly grotesque, yet captivatingly beautiful at the same time. I honestly lost count of how many times I had to stop playing the game just to admire this game's world's details and characters. The whole thing is honestly that good. Visuals aside, the gameplay is also extremely solid and fluid, mixing action platforming with some hack and slash elements, shooting, and puzzle solving. All these elements have been twisted in the world's unique creativity too, as you see your heroine wielding charming weapons like a machine gun pepper grinder and a grenade lobbing teapot. The standout visuals and captivating gameplay are also enhanced by an extremely mature, themed, and complex story that delves deep into mental illness, amongst other things. This is a rabbit hole you should definitely dive into. Lastly, we have Shadows of the Damned, a game brought to us by two legendary game designers, Shinji Mikami and Suda51, and while the designers may have not been happy with the final product due to EA messing with their original plans, I still absolutely love this wacky gem that basically feels and plays like a hyper-stylized, silly, tongue-in-cheek Resident Evil. The game is just simple fun at its finest, and sees you play as Garcia fucking Hotspur on an adventure through hell to save his girlfriend. To aid you on your trip is your trusty floating head companion known as Johnson. This wisecracking skull aids you in your battle with the denizens of hell and can be used as a handy torch 1 minute or a massively customizable death-dealing gun the next.
Tired of having a regular-sized, normal-looking Johnson?
Your Johnson is pretty decent. Does it get any bigger?
Oh, look what we have here. Have you ever thought to yourself, sure, one skull is nice, but 4 would be fantastic. Enlarge your Johnson. Oh my god, 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 sweet, sweet, sweet. Now that's the extension you're looking for.
Let's take this pole for a stroll.
Oh, are you hitting on me?
Enlarge your Johnson.
I've never seen a Johnson do that before.
The game really does revel in its absurdity and is filled with a bucket load of profanity, extreme violence, and a lot of sexualized shenanigans. Yup, it's basically a playable grindhouse movie with a ton of retro gaming additives thrown in, and all the better because of it. Shadows of the Dam is insanely cool, dumb fun that will have you smiling throughout, trust me. Well, that should be enough gems to keep you going until next time. Have we missed out your favourite hidden gem? Let us know down in the comments below. You've been listening to Beardy Rob, you've been watching the Beardy Beer Bro Show, and until next time, you stay tipsy.